The security team stood paralyzed, their hands hovering over their weapons as they watched the scene unfold. No one had ever spoken to CEO Richard Mercer that way, certainly not a maintenance worker. But as the single father stood his ground, something in the powerful executive's eyes changed. This moment would alter both their lives forever, though neither man could possibly know it yet. If you're moved by stories of courage, unexpected connections, and second chances, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more powerful human stories that remind us what truly matters in life. Marcus Wright adjusted his maintenance uniform, the fabric worn thin at the elbows after years of use. The night shift at Pinnacle Enterprises headquarters paid better than daytime hours, and as a single father to 11-year-old Lily, every dollar mattered. He glanced at his watch, 2:17 a.m. The executive floors should be empty, giving him time to fix the persistent leak in the West Wing ceiling before morning. The elevator doors opened to the 47th floor, and Marcus wheeled his cart of tools into the hallway. The marble floors gleamed under the dim night lighting, a stark contrast to the cramped two-bedroom apartment he and Lily called home. He'd been working at Pinnacle for nearly 3 years now, yet he'd never set foot in the CEO's office suite. Not that it mattered. Richard Mercer, the company's notorious CEO, wouldn't know Marcus from any other maintenance worker. Marcus had heard the stories about Mercer, brilliant but ruthless, the kind of man who built a technology empire through sheer force of will and left broken careers in his wake. The tabloids called him the executioner for his cold efficiency in firing employees who didn't meet his exacting standards. As Marcus approached the West Corridor, he noticed light spilling from beneath a door. Strange. The executive offices should be empty at this hour. He hesitated, then continued toward the leak. The sound of breaking glass stopped him in his tracks. God damn it. A voice thundered from behind the partially open door. Marcus recognized that voice from company-wide broadcasts. Richard Mercer. What was the CEO doing here at this hour? Marcus debated turning around, but the maintenance request had been marked urgent. The leak was directly above valuable artwork in the corridor. He knocked softly on the door. Maintenance, sir. Everything okay in there? Silence, then, come in. Marcus pushed the door open to find a scene of controlled chaos. Papers were scattered across an enormous desk, and a broken whiskey glass lay in pieces on the floor. Richard Mercer stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows, his back to the door, his silhouette sharp against the city lights below. He didn't turn around. Clean that up, Mercer said, his voice flat. Marcus set his tool cart aside and knelt to gather the broken glass. As he worked, he noticed the papers on the desk, financial reports, all showing the same downward trends. The company was in trouble. Sir, I'm actually here about the leak in the West Corridor. I can call someone else to. It doesn't matter, Mercer interrupted, finally turning around. His tie was loosened, his usually immaculate appearance disheveled. None of it matters. By this time tomorrow, Pinnacle Enterprises will be finished. Marcus continued cleaning, unsure how to respond. He wasn't paid to counsel executives in crisis. Do you know what it's like? Mercer continued, seemingly talking to himself more than to Marcus. To build something from nothing, to sacrifice everything, only to watch it crumble because of one mistake? Marcus thought of Lily, of the promises he'd made to his late wife to give their daughter everything she needed. I might have some idea, sir. Mercer laughed bitterly. I doubt that very much. He moved to his desk and picked up a framed photograph. 20 years. I built this company for 20 years. And tomorrow, the board votes me out because I trusted the wrong person. Marcus finished collecting the glass shards and stood. I should get to that leak, sir. What's your name? Mercer asked suddenly. Marcus Wright. How long have you worked here, Marcus? Almost 3 years, sir. Mercer nodded, studying him with bloodshot eyes. And what do you think of Pinnacle Enterprises? The truth, please. Marcus hesitated. It's a good job, sir. The benefits help with my daughter's medical expenses. Something in Mercer's expression shifted. You have a child? A daughter. Lily. She's 11. And her mother? Passed away 4 years ago. Cancer. Mercer's gaze softened momentarily. I'm sorry. He turned back to the window. My wife left me 6 years ago. Took our son with her. Said I cared more about this company than them. He laughed without humor. Turns out I've lost them both. Marcus shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't a conversation he'd ever expected to have with the CEO of Pinnacle Enterprises. Mercer moved to a cabinet and pulled out another glass and a bottle of expensive whiskey. He poured a generous amount and drank it in one swallow. Then he poured another. Sir, if you don't mind, I really should. Stay, Mercer commanded. Have a drink with me on the eve of my professional execution. I don't drink on the job, sir. Mercer's eyes narrowed. Are you refusing a direct request from your CEO? Marcus straightened his shoulders. With respect, sir, yes. I have work to do, and you. He paused, weighing his next words carefully. You might want to step back from that whiskey. Facing the board tomorrow with a hangover won't help your case. The room went deadly silent. Marcus could hear his own heartbeat. He'd just told Richard Mercer, a man known for firing employees for the smallest infractions, to stop drinking. The door behind Marcus burst open, and 2 security guards rushed in, alerted by the raised voices. They froze when they saw the scene, the maintenance worker standing tall, the CEO with a whiskey glass in hand, the tension between them palpable. Sir, one of the guards asked uncertainly. Mercer stared at Marcus for a long moment, then set the glass down. It's fine. Mr. Wright here was just giving me some advice. His tone was unreadable. The guards hesitated, looking between the 2 men. You can go, Mercer told them. They retreated reluctantly, leaving the door ajar. Marcus expected to be fired on the spot. Instead, Mercer asked, Why are you working the night shift, Marcus? The pay is better, and I can be home when Lily gets back from school. Your daughter, you mentioned medical expenses? Marcus nodded. She has type 1 diabetes. The insurance helps, but there are still costs. Mercer was silent for a moment. My son has the same condition. That's partly why I pushed so hard to include comprehensive health coverage in our employee benefits package 3 years ago. Marcus hadn't known that. The improved health benefits had been a major reason he'd taken the job at Pinnacle. Sir, I should really fix that leak before it damages anything. Mercer waved a hand dismissively. Go. Do your job. As Marcus turned to leave, Mercer added, And Marcus? Thank you for your candor. Marcus nodded and left, certain he'd never have another conversation with Richard Mercer again. The leak took longer to fix than expected. By the time Marcus finished, dawn was breaking over the city. He was exhausted but satisfied with the repair. As he packed his tools, his phone buzzed with a text from Mrs. Patel, their elderly neighbor who stayed with Lily when Marcus worked nights. Lily had a rough night. Blood sugar spiked. Under control now, but she's staying home from school today. Marcus's heart sank. Lily had been having more episodes lately, and the doctor had recommended a continuous glucose monitor, a device they couldn't afford even with insurance. He texted back that he'd be home soon, then headed for the elevator. As the doors opened on the ground floor, Marcus was surprised to see Richard Mercer stepping in, looking remarkably composed in a fresh suit, no sign of last night's distress visible. Mr. Wright, Mercer acknowledged with a nod. Mr. Mercer, Marcus replied, keeping his eyes forward. They rode in silence to the parking garage. As they exited, Mercer said, I hope I didn't cause you any trouble last night. No trouble, sir. Mercer hesitated, then asked, "How is your daughter this morning?" Marcus was surprised he remembered. "Not great, actually. She's staying home from school today. Diabetes complications." Mercer frowned. "I'm sorry to hear that." He seemed about to say more when his phone rang. He checked the screen and his expression hardened. "I have to take this. Good day, Mr. Wright." Marcus watched him walk away, already engaged in what sounded like an intense conversation. He shook his head and headed for his old Honda Civic, thoughts turning to Lily and the day ahead. When Marcus arrived home, he found Lily curled up on the couch, her face pale but her smile bright when she saw him. "Dad." "Mrs. Patel made pancakes, but they were gross, so I fed them to Mr. Whiskers when she wasn't looking." Marcus laughed, sitting beside her and feeling her forehead. "How are you feeling now, kiddo?" "Better. Can we watch a movie?" "Sure thing. But first, let me check your levels." As Marcus helped Lily manage her morning insulin, he couldn't help thinking about Richard Mercer and his son. Did the billionaire CEO personally help with his son's diabetes care? Or did he have a staff of nurses to handle it? After settling Lily with her favorite movie, Marcus tried to sleep, but his mind kept returning to the strange encounter with Mercer. The man had seemed so different from his public persona, vulnerable, almost human. And today he'd be facing a board vote that could remove him from the company he'd built. Marcus finally drifted off, only to be awakened a few hours later by his phone. An unknown number. "Hello," he answered groggily. "Mr. Wright? This is Patricia Winters, Mr. Mercer's executive assistant. Mr. Mercer would like to see you in his office at 3 p.m. today." Marcus sat up, instantly alert. "Today? I'm not scheduled to work until tonight. Mr. Mercer is aware. He insists it's important. You'll be compensated for your time, of course." Marcus looked at Lily, who was now napping on the couch. "I can't leave my daughter alone. She's sick today." There was a pause. "Mr. Mercer suggested you bring her along if necessary. A car will be sent to your address at 2:30. Before Marcus could protest further, the call ended. He stared at his phone in disbelief. What could Richard Mercer possibly want with him? And why today of all days? At precisely 2:30, a sleek black car pulled up outside their apartment building. Marcus had explained the situation to Lily, who was thrilled at the prospect of visiting her father's workplace, especially in a fancy car with a driver. "Do you think he has candy?" Lily whispered as they approached the vehicle, her backpack filled with her diabetes supplies slung over her shoulder. "I doubt it, sweetheart," Marcus replied, still bewildered by the whole situation. The driver opened the door for them. "Mr. Wright and Miss Wright, I presume? Mr. Mercer is looking forward to meeting you both." The ride to Pinnacle headquarters was surreal. Lily pressed her face against the window, exclaiming over everything they passed, while Marcus tried to make sense of what was happening. Had his comments last night offended Mercer? Was he about to be fired in person, with his daughter as a witness? When they arrived, they were escorted directly to the executive floor, not by security, but by Patricia Winters herself, a poised woman who smiled warmly at Lily. "Mr. Mercer is just finishing a meeting," she explained, leading them to a comfortable waiting area. "Can I get either of you anything? Water? Coffee? Perhaps some juice? Do you have apple juice?" Lily asked. "Sometimes my blood sugar gets low." Patricia nodded. "Of course. We keep a variety of juices on hand. Mr. Mercer's son has similar needs when he visits." As they waited, Marcus noticed the atmosphere on the executive floor was tense. People hurried past, speaking in hushed tones. He caught fragments of conversation: board vote, shareholders, transition plan. Finally, Patricia returned with Lily's juice and an update. "Mr. Mercer will see you now." She led them to the same office Marcus had entered the night before, though it looked different in daylight, spacious and impressive, with views that made Lily gasp. Richard Mercer stood as they entered, his expression unreadable. He looked nothing like the disheveled man from last night. This was the CEO Marcus had seen in company videos, commanding, confident, impeccably dressed. "Mr. Wright, thank you for coming on such short notice." His eyes moved to Lily. "And you must be Lily. It's a pleasure to meet you." Lily, suddenly shy, moved closer to Marcus. "Hello," she said quietly. Mercer gestured to the sitting area. "Please, have a seat. Patricia, hold my calls." Once they were seated, an awkward silence fell. Marcus finally broke it. "Mr. Mercer, may I ask why we're here?" Mercer studied him for a moment. "Last night, you told me something no one has dared say to my face in years. You told me to step back. To reconsider my actions." He leaned forward. "That stayed with me, Mr. Wright. It made me think about many things, including how I've been running this company." Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "Sir, I was out of line." "No," Mercer interrupted. "You were honest. And today, when I faced the board, I realized I needed more of that honesty." He paused. "The vote has been postponed. I've been given 6 months to turn things around." "That's good news, sir. Congratulations." Mercer smiled slightly. "I'm not sure congratulations are in order yet. I have a lot of work to do." His gaze shifted to Lily, who was looking around the office with wide eyes. "Lily, has your father shown you the rest of the building?" She shook her head. "Would you like to see it? Patricia can give you a tour. There's a technology lab on the 32nd floor that's quite impressive. They're developing some new medical devices there." Lily looked at Marcus questioningly. "It's okay," he assured her. "I'll be right here." After Lily left with Patricia, Mercer's demeanor changed subtly. "Mr. Wright, Marcus, I've been reviewing your employee file. You've been with us for nearly 3 years, always with excellent performance reviews. Before that, you worked in IT support for Westridge Systems until they downsized." Marcus nodded, surprised. "That's right. You have an associate's degree in computer science that you never completed because your wife became ill." "Sir, why are you?" "I'm offering you a job, Marcus. In our IT department. Your background qualifies you, and the position comes with better hours and significantly better pay. And," he added, "enhanced medical benefits that would cover a continuous glucose monitor for Lily." Marcus stared at him, speechless. "This isn't charity," Mercer continued. "The position needs to be filled, and you're qualified. But I won't pretend last night's conversation didn't influence my decision to review your file personally." "I don't understand," Marcus finally managed. "Why would you do this?" Mercer was quiet for a moment. "When my son was diagnosed with diabetes, I threw money at the problem. The best doctors, the best equipment, everything money could buy. But I wasn't there for the daily struggles. My wife handled those alone while I built this company." He gestured around the office. "And in the end, she left, taking our son with her. Now I see him twice a month, and he barely knows me.